Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Wednesday drawing session with me, Frank Cho. There's my trusty Pentel mechanical pencil with 0.7 HB millimeter lead, my kneaded eraser, and here's my favorite paper to draw on, Strathmore Bristleboard 300 series with vellum surface. Love the vellum surface. Okay, this week I'm going to draw a character I have never drawn before. Someone asked me to draw Squirrel Girl. So I decided to, why not? This is the first time I'm drawing Squirrel Girl. So I have no idea what Squirrel Girl is. I've never read any of her comics. And I know who the character is, but I've never read or know too much anything about it. So Squirrel Girl, I did some research, was originally created by Steve Ditko and Will Murray. Steve Ditko. Steve Ditko is the co-creator of Spider-Man. And he also co-created Squirrel Girl. Just think about that for a minute. It's just pretty wild. So Squirrel Girl was first made her appearance in 1991 in Marvel Superheroes #8. So 1991. So Steve Ditko created Spider-Man in the early 60s. So yeah, so literally like 30 years after he created Spider-Man, co-created Spider-Man, Steve Ditko co-created Squirrel Girl. That just that thought just blows my mind. So Squirrel Girl is exactly what you think she is. She has the power of a squirrel. So for her pose, I decided to have her kind of in a like a fun pose. And so she's kind of like it's almost like she just jumped down from a tree, and and she's kind of waving her hands around, almost like jazz hands. So I had like a rough pose in mind, and I just start messing around with it. And I notice in Squirrel Girl comics, there's, I guess, depending on the artist, but she tend to be kind of thick. She tend to be kind of on kind of a bit of on the chubby side. So I decided to give her thick legs. Because she has the ability to kind of jump from trees to trees, and so she need like thick, powerful legs. Um, I mean, I can't stop laughing about this character. The more I read about her, the more I find it just hilarious. So Squirrel Girl, has the power of the squirrel, and she's actually Canadian. Her character name is Doreen Allen Green, and she was born in Canada. Her mother and father was Dorian and Maureen Green. So when she was 10 years old, she discovered she could communicate with squirrels. And I'm not sure if the she was born with the tail or if the tail was like a mechanical extension, kind of like the scorpion. But I guess from the more I read, I guess it looks like the tail is part of her. She's genetically has a tail, like a prehensive tail, like a monkey, and she has the strength and speed of a squirrel, of that size, and which is another thing that I didn't really know is she has the spikes on her knuckles, almost like the Wolverine. So that spike comes out like about 2 or 3 inches. And I guess she can knock out people with those spikes in her knuckles. And also, she has kind of like a buck tooth, you know? And so she has like an incredible biting power strength. She can actually bite through steel, which I didn't again didn't know. So the more I read about her, the more, I guess, impressive is not the word. I guess kind of scary is the word I'm looking for. And and she has a sidekick, a squirrel named Monkey Joe, which is a great name, by the way. So her sidekick is a pet squirrel named Monkey Joe, and and in her pouches that she carries, she has all these like nuts that she can just kind of feed squirrels along the way, along her mission. And I think she called those the pouches on her belt the nut sack. And actually, the more I do research on it, I'm actually kind of like I need to read the comics, because this the more I read about it, the more crazy and just wacky she is. So when her first appearance, she ambushed Iron Man in the forest to impress him, and I guess joined the Avengers or something like that. And then along the way, she eventually teams up with Iron Man and defeats Doctor Doom. Um, I'm a big Doctor Doom fan, so I don't know about that. I think that's just crazy writing. That's just absolutely nuts. But yeah, that's her first story. She fights Iron Man and defeats Doctor Doom. So again, this character is just off the charts wacky. And the more I read about her background, um, the more I am actually kind of curious what her comic book series is like. Okay, so that's her background. Now going back to drawing. So when I draw a figure, I basically kind of like map out all the general body proportion, and and then basically kind of build upon from there. So I realized that her legs were just a little too long, you know, and I need to kind of shorten them a little bit, because Squirrel Girl is tend to be kind of I guess she's kind of a short character. I mean, from all the drawings I've seen of her, she's tend to be kind of like a short, powerful looking, stout, thick girl. So I decided to draw her leg a little shorter, because I originally drew her legs a little too long. Now, so so I didn't know what her costume looks like, because there's several different versions of her costumes. So I looked up a cosplay, costume of her, which which makes sense, because the original costume that Steve Ditko drew, it just looked really odd. She's wearing like a fur vest, and has this fur, kind of like a really long fur gloves and fur boots with a bunch of pouches around her belt. So she looked kind of odd. I mean, she looked more like a flying squirrel to me than an actual like squirrel. So, so according to the reference that I have there, she wear this kind of like a short leather jacket, and the collar is lined with fur, and she's wearing these kind of like this shorts, and with the cuff is lined with fur, and she's wearing this, I guess, this legging that comes to her mid thigh, and she wears this kind of like this work boots, and that is like kind of trimmed with a big thick fur. It's almost like a winter boots. Well, since she's Canadian, I'm pretty sure they're all over the place up in Canada. Yeah, so I mean, like once I have the costume down, it just everything kind of like clicks into place. Now on her jacket, I noticed that in the comic and in some of the cosplayers, they have her the the cuff is kind of like is jagged, almost like a it's almost like a design element. So people ask me like, after you sketch, why do you erase the entire thing? Well, I mean, I lightly erase it, and because that will kind of give me the foundation, like a light foundation of the overall drawing. And I use that light foundation to kind of build upon to have a more of a cleaner line. So Squirrel Girl, because of her powers, she eventually joins the Great Lakes Avengers. And if I remember correctly, I think I read the Great Lakes Avengers when I was growing up. The Great Lakes Avengers is mainly kind of like a comedic team, you know. They're kind of like the defenders, like I've always thought Avengers were like the A level, defenders were kind of like the B level, and the Great Lake Avengers were essentially about the same. They're about the C level group. So now I don't know if she can talk to squirrels, but whether she can telepathically talk to squirrels or or what. Um, but she's kind of like the kind of like Tarzan of the squirrels. So she's apparently she can communicate with her pet squirrel, her sidekick squirrel, um, Monkey Joe. And I noticed that she has like freckles, and she has like kind of like this dark outlined eyes. I'm not sure if that's mascara or her like or kind of like a weird domino mask. But I just kind of drew her as wearing this thick mascara around her eyes. And so she has kind of like short hair, like a bit of a bob. So I wasn't sure how old she was. According to the notes, she was 14 years old when she first ambushed Iron Man and fought Doctor Doom. And Iron Man was so impressed with her, he basically said, come back when you're older. So I guess by the time she joined the Great Lakes Avengers, I guess she's like in her early 20s, late teens, early 20s. She's basically going to college, if I remember correctly. So she's like in her early 20s. So I'm showing the hands right there. Yeah, the her having that kind of like a Wolverine type knuckle that kind of pops out. That's something I didn't know. So that's kind of crazy. So she's wearing these like fingerless gloves, kind of like Rocky Balboa. So yeah, don't shy away from drawing hands. I mean, if you don't know how to draw hands, just kind of use your own hands to figure it out. Again, I'm going to sound like a broken record. The guy who draws absolutely incredible hands were were Neil Adams. I actually love Neil Adams and everything he drew. But I thought he was really, really expressive and masterful when it came to drawing hands. So if I ever get stuck on hands or if I feel uninspired, I often look at Neil Adams stuff to figure out how we draw hands. So I guess her jacket is in some way is kind of like a modified like a bomber jacket from like World War II. You have that fur collar and then kind of the leather, the brown, deep brown leather. As I said earlier, her leather jacket. I'm pointing out she has this weird kind of fraying design element at the cuff on her jacket. So even though she has a tail and has all these like squirrel-like superpowers, she's not considered a mutant. So I'm not exactly sure what she is then. I mean, if you have a tail, I guess in my neighborhood, if you have a tail, I think you're called considered a freak. So I guess she's a freak. I mean, they're saying that she's not a mutant, so I don't know what she is. So there's that fur trimmed shorts. And give her that thick legs. Yeah, she doesn't skip leg days in the gym. And she has that kind of that mid thigh stockings. And she has that kind of like that thick fur boots. I wonder what actress would really do it justice playing her. I don't know. I mean, like she seemed like a kind of a fun, goofy character. So if an actress to play her, I think you probably need someone who's really, really cute, and has a really natural comedic sense. So according to her power, she has a heightened reflexes like a squirrel, like a squirrel agility, like spider agility, kind of like Spider Man, and she can pretty much see in the dark like a squirrel, and she has enhanced sense of smell, And basically, she's like a giant squirrel woman. And also, they're saying that she's a superb hand to hand combatant, and is capable of taking down Wolverine in a one on one no claws fight. Ah, that's bull. That's absolute bull. Wolverine would just absolutely destroy her. Um, and she has like a weird squirrel sense, kind of like Spidey sense. Yeah, I'm just reading over my notes, and yeah, she's one wacky character. So I added that extra kind of like fluffiness at the tail end to kind of give it that more squirrel look. Yeah, I kind of screwed up there. I almost like drew the tail out of frame. Kind of drawing that hair, kind of feathering that hair. So she doesn't have squirrel ears. She just has normal ears, but she wears this kind of headband with squirrel ears attached to it. I mean, the way she's dressed, she'll fit perfectly in a furry convention. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of squirrel girls in Dragon Con every year. Kind of thickening the line under the jaw to kind of give it a sense of shadow. So again, when you're drawing, make sure you know where the light source is. So when I draw figure in general, I have a very generic, general light source, and that light source is up around 11, 12, 1 o'clock position. And anything that falls on the opposite side of that is that's where I put all the shadows. Adding the furry texture on her kind of this mini bomber jacket looking thing. Yeah, that makes no sense. I mean, she has all this power. She was born with all these power, but she's not considered a mutant. That doesn't make any sense. Adding the highlights in the hair. Outlining the jacket. Adding more texture. So kind of like darkening the jacket up a bit because she's wearing just kind of like a dark brown leather jacket. Yeah, she's definitely a mutant. We're just drawing the fingerless glove. Yeah, apparently she has like a really powerful grip strength too, because she needed that. She needs that grip strength to climb trees with ease and jump from branches to branches. So she is kind of like Tarzan, but instead of apes, squirrels. She's like the Tarzan of the squirrels. Kind of smudging the pencils to give it like that softer tone to the graphite. Drawing those pouches, or as she call them, her nut sacks, where she keeps all the nuts to kind of treat the squirrels she meets along the way. So she's wearing, I guess, the same leather pants to kind of that dark brown leather pants to kind of match her jacket, her bomber jacket. Drawing the quad separation on her side leg. Now reinforcing the outline of her legs. Drawing her dark boots, her dark leather boots. So I'm looking at my notes, and so she said she has two squirrels that are sidekicks, Monkey Joe, and her the other one is called Tippy Toe. And ooh, okay, I didn't know that. I guess I don't want to spoil it, but apparently Monkey Joe dies, and is succeeded by Tippy Toe. Actually, I like the name Monkey Joe. They should have kept with Monkey Joe. But she has other squirrels with her at all times. Slippery, Slippy Pete, Mr. Freckle, and Nutso. I like Monkey Joe. I like the name Monkey Joe. It's just kind of so. Anyway, clearly, Squirrel Girl was created as a humor book. So now I'm adding texture to her knee-high stockings. I guess they're called leg warmers, I think. Now go into adding a little bit of tone to her tail. I don't know why they would not call her a mutant. You know, she was born with a tail and born with all these uh, genetic abilities, strength, speed, and all that, and a tail. I don't know why they won't call her a mutant. I don't even know what the criteria for a mutant is because she fits all the criteria for being a mutant. I guess the only other criteria is circus freak. Yeah, I mean, I guess in my book she's a mutant. So adding kind of like that furry texture to her tail. Just adding some little detail, the final details on her shorts. Adding more details. Tweaking the eyes a little bit. Kind of emphasizing her buck tooth. And there you have it. Squirrel Girl. Oh man, I should have drawn Monkey Joe, her sidekick. Next time, maybe. So, anyway, there's Squirrel Girl. I hope you guys enjoyed it. See you next week.